Good afternoon. My name is Tim Campos. I'm the Director of Recruitment Programs here at Arts and College of Design. Welcome. Today we're streaming live at our graduation show for fall 2018 at the Pasadena Convention Center. And with me today is Karen Hoffman, our Provost and alumna.
Great, thank you, Tim. Well, welcome everybody. This is the second semester that we've featured our grad show here down at the Convention Center. Today we have 15 different departments showcasing their work. Yesterday we had a magnificent day of 250 guests from the industry coming here to have conversations about opportunities for jobs, employment. We had wonderful recruiting sessions here. We had an open house and a wonderful celebration last night of the work of our students. So we're really happy you're joining us here today. Here at Art Center, one of the things that we really value is that we are Art Center College of Design. So what you're seeing here is a mix of artists and designers in one space. Some of you may know that we've grown significantly over the last few years. We have a Hillside campus and a South campus that features different departments. And we've recently experienced how challenging it can be to see all the work at both campuses. So the school's made a decision to come here, to be part of the community of Pasadena, to open the work that our wonderful students have done to the public. And so tomorrow, all of our students here, we have 170 graduates tomorrow from undergraduate and graduate departments that are going to be celebrating with their friends and family, and we definitely welcome you to join us. And there's more details to follow on that after we're done with the tour today. So thank you again for joining us. Enjoy the tour.
Thanks, Karen. And Karen will be back with us towards the end of our tour. We're going to wrap through the grad show. We'll have a Q&A, and Karen will join us for that as well. And we'll take your questions. So if you're tuning in live at the moment, feel free to ask us questions on Facebook, and we'll get to those towards the end as they come up. Alrighty. Thanks, Karen.
Great.
We'll see you in a bit.
Enjoy the tour.
Alrighty, thank you. So you're in for an exclusive treat. We're getting a preview of grad show. If you want to check it out in person tomorrow, Saturday, December 15th, it is open to the public here at the Pasadena Convention Center from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So you have a small block of time to get down here if you're local and check out the work in person. But if not, you have the luxury of joining us today live for this walking tour of grad show. We're going to explore all of our undergraduate programs. We're first starting off with interaction design. Interaction design is one of our Bachelor of Science programs, our industrial design-based programs, really focusing on the user experience, user interaction, and really up and coming in the industry. All the big companies are looking for user interaction, user experience designers. And so here at Grad Show today, we're looking at the undergraduate interaction design and some of the student projects on display. Again, really focusing on that user experience. Some of our students are looking at issues that are affecting us today as a community, and then also looking at things regarding such interaction design and even transportation design and how the two come together as well for an interactive experience. And so these are some of the projects on display. Also some of them with an emphasis in with the social context. And so throughout the tour today, I'll point out some of our projects that are specific to Design Matters. Design Matters at Art Center is a department that allows students to really focus in providing a curriculum that highlights social innovation. And so if our students want to have a minor in social innovation, they can through Design Matters. So I'll be sure to point out some of those projects as they come up today. And so that wraps up for interaction design. We're going to make our way on over to the rest of the grad show. The next department on display is advertising. So advertising at Art Center was one of our very first programs way back when in 1930. Our founding president, Edward, or he went by Tink Adams, was an advertising professional. And so these are some of our advertising students on display today. Advertising allows our students to go off into the ad industry in careers such as art directors, copy editors, creative directors, and so this is some of the work that our advertising students have put on display for us today at Grad Show. So you'll see a lot of that on how different identities come together through some of the projects that they're displaying today. Next on our stuff, so we went through interaction design, advertising. If you bear with me and walk through it, we're going to make our way on over to photography and imaging. Notice that I mentioned it's photography and imaging. That's because at Art Center, we want our students to understand that you're both a photographer and an image maker. There's really intent behind the images that you're capturing, but also creating as well. And so we'll see some of our photography and imaging work on display from our graduating students. You'll see here the range of the work here from our photography and imaging student ranges from students who are focused in portrait photography, students who are doing environmental architectural photography, maybe they're doing automotive photography, maybe they're doing product and food photography as well. So it really does range from the type of work that our students are doing. Tends to be mostly commercial work as well. So you can see a slew of representations here from our graduating photography students and the types of work that they're doing from those different areas. And so hopefully that gives you a quick, brief idea of the type of work, the fabulous work that our photography and imaging students are doing at Art Center. But now we're making our way through, as I mentioned, a little fast-paced. We're going to make our way through the next department here. There's quite many more departments to check out, so we want to make sure that we give enough time to each department here. Next department is Environmental Design, our undergraduate environmental design program. So this collection of work is really special in that our students come together and they kind of focus on a theme. And so for this theme, you can see behind me, it's seed. So really it's some intention in planting the seed, the design. And a really cool aspect, all of these display tables here will be donated after graduation show to a local nonprofit in Los Angeles. They'll be turned into garden beds. So it's a really great thing. We're talking about environmental design, really focused on a spatial experience. If students are interested in aspects of architecture, aspects of interior design, that spatial experience, this is really displaying what a spatial experience is. And you can see our students invest a lot of time and the models that they're crafting, the renderings as well. This is one of my favorite pieces here as a dog lover, maybe for some of you out there as well. We have an urban park for pet owners, so you can see how students are really thinking about how a spatial experience and a design can come together for a community as well. You could also see that students are not just focusing on the model making and the renderings, but also really paying attention to the detail and the craft of it as well as they're selecting their materials that go into this spatial experience. Some of our students also choose to focus on not just the spatial design, but also they're thinking about aspects of lighting, furniture as well, everything that embodies that spatial experience. So that wraps up environmental design. The next department that we're going to take a look at is entertainment design. Entertainment design at Art Center has 3 tracks. We have concept design, animation, and our newly developed track in game design. And so if you're interested in any aspect of entertainment, concept, animation, or game design, this is the place to look at. So on display today, we have a range of work from our entertainment design students. We have work from our concept design students. Entertainment design is one of our industrial design-based programs, so you will receive a Bachelor of Science in Entertainment Design, whether you choose to focus in concept design, animation, or game design. It is an industrial design-based program, therefore you are given the Bachelor of Science. And so if you take a look at David's work here, one of our graduating students, you can see here that as a concept designer, really focusing on that industrial design-based work in his type of design, ranging from the characters, the wardrobe, the props, the vehicles, the hardware, everything that helps tell that story for that particular feature. So our students can work in film, television, video games that they choose, and all those different aspects as concept designers, animators, visual development artists, or game designers and producers as well. So if you can continue down the way here, we stroll down the red carpet here, the entertainment design department. Very fitting, the red carpet. Our graduating entertainment design students. And now the next department on display is product design. Product design is another one of our industrial design-based programs, a Bachelor of Science for our product design students. We're also going to have an opportunity to speak with one of our current graduating students in product design and have him talk to us a little bit more about his work and his process as well. So if you follow me through. Quick mention behind us here is graduate industrial design. So we do have graduate programs on display. So for those of you tuning in, if you are interested, we do have graduate programs on display in industrial design, graduate art, graduate film, and graduate transportation systems and design. So if we don't tour some of the grad programs today and you're curious and you're local, you can still check them out in person tomorrow. Anyone tuning in, tomorrow, Pasadena Convention Center, December 15th, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So product design, at Art Center, product design, we're really focusing in on providing design solutions to existing problems out there in the world. And so it's not just about designing something that looks cool, but something that really has meaning behind it, and it's providing a design solution to some of the problems that we face nationally, globally. And so with us for our first check-in, we're going to speak with one of our graduating students, Austin. Hey, Austin, how's it going?
Doing well. How are you?
So, Austin, tell us a little bit about your journey to Art Center and what brought you here.
Yeah. I was kind of an interesting kid. I grew up in a really creative environment, so I was always making a lot of things. I remember using my desk as a kid, and it was angled and my pencils kept falling off, so I built a pencil holder with my dad's scrap aluminum and an anvil. Built tree huts in my backyard. I always had a sketchbook around, and I think just that idea of creating things was something that was really innate to my nature, so I ended up looking for a school where I could actually go and do that for a potential career. So I think that's...
And through your journey to Art Center, did you apply and come to Art Center right after high school? What was that like, or did you have some time in between?
So it's interesting. I learned about Art Center really, really young as a kid. I think I was like 12. I saw it in a book about car design, and I knew I wanted to go to Art Center, but it was not until after finishing high school and then going to community college for about a year and a half where I ended up developing my portfolio a little bit more and doing general education, and then following that ended up applying.
Great. And how have you noticed your design evolve since your time being here at Art Center? Tomorrow's graduation, so
yeah.
And looking back at it, how have you evolved as a designer?
It's been a lot of things. Most definitely, I think the main thing would be that when you first start off sort of creating or designing anything as a kid, like it's all about sort of making something for yourself and just doodling things, and that's really what you do. Whereas once you start learning what the actual design process is like and learning how to actually understand who the consumer is and what they look for, and understanding how to develop a product for that person, that's been the main difference. And actually learning how to develop things that are manufacturable, that's another main difference that I've had.
And do you mind sharing with us one of your projects today and telling us a little bit about your process?
Yeah, sure. So the majority of the products that I have here are wearable products. So I have a range of footwear, some watches, I have some sunglasses here as well. I think one of the best projects that I have that shows my process probably most clearly is from this internship that I had with Chinese footwear brand Anta. This was developed in North America and China, and was really looking at the idea that on the trails a lot of people were utilizing things like Vans and Yeezys, really casual outdoor shoes or casual just street shoes in general, but it's leaving them susceptible to injury, but they love the way that it looks. So the idea here was really to create a hybrid of those two things. So it's a casual sort of skate aesthetic paired with the functionality and the materials required for a trail shoe. So you get that feel while you're on the trail, at least the feel of that aesthetic, but you're more sure-footed. But the process is pretty raw from what I've shown here. It's a lot of sketching, a lot of tape ups, which are wrapped around a last, and trying to figure out what actually looks good in 3D, and then taking it to some sort of 3D modeling program like ZBrush, and then eventually printing it and taking it to tech pack form so that it could be manufactured in a factory.
You mentioned sketching. Do you mind if we take a look at some of your wonderful, your beautiful sketches there on your desk?
Yeah. So these are all pretty full. This is sort of like my meditation. Like I love just sitting on a couch while I'm watching a movie and just sketching, right? Occasionally it's for certain projects. Maybe it's home goods. Maybe it's, I've done curling irons, I've done apparel. A lot of it is footwear for me, and occasionally it's for specific projects that I'm doing either in school or on internships, but that's kind of where a lot of my process originally starts.
And you mentioned ANTA as one of the internships you had. Were there other internships or other opportunities you had throughout your time at Art Center?
Yeah, one of the first that I had was a footwear design consultancy called Ghostworks in Portland, Oregon, which I worked with clients such as Hoka One One, Fox Racing, Pearl Izumi, a number of other companies. Secondly, I worked in Dallas, Texas at Fossil Group, so I was working with the Diesel men's watch design team. And then kind of spread throughout, I've had a number of freelance opportunities, which further supplemented my educational experience.
Great, thanks, Austin. And lastly, tomorrow's graduation. Now it's a lot to look forward to, so congratulations. Do you have any plans on the horizon post graduation?
Yeah, sleeping.
Sleeping. That's good. Yeah.
Sleeping, enjoying the holidays, and then looking for a job in the footwear industry.
Great. But do you have an ideal space you'd like to end up? Open?
There's a lot of parameters that I know that I'm looking for, but I'm open to a lot of different places and locations.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Austin. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck. Alrighty.
Thanks so much.
So we'll continue on our tour of Grad Show, wrap up through the rest of the product design area here. So it's great to speak with Austin, see some of his work, his design process as well. There's a lot to look at, and while you're getting an inside peek, virtually today, really, if you're local and you're able to come out to Pasadena tomorrow, Saturday, December 15th, from 1 to 5, you can check out all of this work in person. It's really something that you don't want to miss. And so can encourage you more to make sure you get out here if you're local. It's an opportunity. And we do this every term. We're graduating students in the fall, spring, and summer. And so if maybe this time around doesn't work for you, be on the lookout for the next term in the spring or in the summer as well. So that concludes product design. The next department we're going to tour is undergraduate illustration. So illustration at Art Center is one of our largest programs, so there's a lot of work to look at. We also have a chance to check in with one of our illustration students who will be graduating as well. So follow me into our illustration department. So as you can see, it's a massive space here. So many students graduating from illustration. At Art Center, our illustration program allows students to really focus in a little bit more specifically into areas of focus. So things like illustration design, surface design. You'll see some of that on display today. Entertainment arts, for those students interested in maybe going into visual development, art direction in the entertainment industry, you could also focus as an illustrator in entertainment arts. We also have students focusing on motion, illustration, and other areas as well. And so with us today, we have one of our graduating Art Center students from illustration, Wera. How are you today? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your journey to Art Center, first and foremost. Yeah.
Well, I came straight out of high school, so usually not ideal when coming to a school so specialized, and I already had to know exactly what I wanted, and luckily I already did. So like as soon as I graduated high school, I was like, this is the school I want to go to, and I was really lucky that I got a scholarship, and my family was very supportive, and they helped me, get over here, and I'm really happy that I was able to, make it all this way and finally graduate.
So you're a local student. How have you seen your work? This is your beautiful work on display.
Thank you.
I think what's really captivating about it is that it seems to be very culturally inspired.
Yes.
And so maybe you can talk to us a little bit about what inspires your work and how you've grown as an artist and designer while at Art Center.
Well, first and foremost, my family truly inspires me. Like, they've supported me, with my art and with everything I do, and what better way to give back to them by like telling their stories, especially my grandparents who came when they were like in their 30s or 40s from Mexico to America, and they worked really hard to provide us with a really good life, and now I can go to college, and I'm one of the first in my family to go to college, so it's really nice to be able to share my culture and my family with everybody through my artwork. So, yeah.
Do you mind talking to us about one of your pieces here? And I know you have a lot of different examples here.
Yeah. Well, that book is actually about my grandfather, and he used to do horse racing in Mexico. So I did a book based on an incident in which a few of his friends got really jealous because he was really good at horse racing, and they actually planned to murder him. So I made it kid friendly, of course, and this is sort of the story of him trying to escape, these evil cowboys that are going after him, and basically me you know, my grandpa can be a little kooky sometimes, as most grandparents can be, and me sort of realizing that my grandpa's really cool and he lived a really amazing life. And this is sort of, you know, my loving gift to him, you know. My abuelito is a bit strange, but he's the coolest abuelito in the whole world. For him. Yeah.
And also maybe you can talk about, you know, each student here has given us space to put together. How did your space here come together in every detail?
Well, like I said, almost everything, it has something to do with my family. So this is my mother's garden, and I had to make these by hand, papel picado. So she helped like cut it, design it, and like my grandmother's rosary and my father's rosary. And these I like collect, see, give to tourists, and they're my favorite to like collect because they're so cute. So everything's, you know, keeping my family in mind always.
Great, and tomorrow's graduation. So
Yeah.
congratulations about the graduation. Do you have any future plans for Post Art Center on the horizon? If people were to?
I really want to get my book published. I want to do children's books, specifically bilingual, like for kids, because I know parents in the country not knowing and being able to read with their kids along both in English and Spanish, I think would be really good. And then hopefully get into TV. Hopefully, I'll see how that goes. I got a few calls from Netflix, so hopefully that can be something. But yeah, I'm really open as long as I get to, you know, celebrate my family and my culture.
Well, thanks so much for being with us, Wada. We'll see you around. And
Thank you so
congratulations on
much.
graduating.
Thank
Alrighty.
you.
We'll continue wrapping around. Let's make our way on this way and take a look at some more of the illustration work that we have on display. Again, there's a lot of work here, and so this doesn't do it justice. That's why I'd like to encourage you to come out here if you can. There's a lot more work on some of those various specific tracks that I mentioned. Wada's work was focused more on the entertainment side of things, so entertainment arts. You know, she wants to go into visual development, storyboarding. So good luck to her on that. We also have more work on display. So aside from the entertainment arts related work for illustration, they may also choose to do things that are more design based, or illustration design, which is a little bit of editorial. Students may also want to do surface design, so applying illustrative designs to various fabrics, ceramics, surfaces as well. So you'll see some of that. More entertainment art, visual development type work on display. Really what ties our illustration department together, I would say, is storytelling. They interested in telling stories through an illustrative standpoint, and really look into Illustration Center. And once you get here, don't worry about the tracks I'm talking about at the moment. Once you get to Art Center, you're actually able to take a course that will allow you to kind of figure out which of these tracks you want to focus in a little bit if you choose. But I think the first part is understanding that, hey, illustration is the department for me. And so this is some of the other work that I mentioned. Surface design, for example, applying those illustrative designs to various fabrics, textiles. Behind us here, we have Jonathan Nagel, who's doing a lot of design as well. And so he's doing a little bit of a combination of design, but also design work as he's applying that surface design to various fabrics as well. And so some of our students in illustration tend to do a little bit of a hybrid. So you're not necessarily have to focus in one of those tracks, but it's there for you to help you navigate your time at Art Center if you want to focus a little bit more in depth as well. We have students here like Sebastian, who's doing work as well. If you look at his work, a lot of storytelling going on in the work he's doing as an illustrator. So we could keep going on and on through the illustration department here because there's a lot of work, but we're going to head on out and make our way to the next department. So the next department on display is undergraduate graphic design. Graphic design, much like illustration, is one of our larger programs here on campus. And so on display today, we're going to see all of our graduating graphic design students. We're going to see work from a variety of areas: traditional print, transmedia, environmental graphics, motion graphics. We also have students who are, again, applying that design matters emphasis to some of the work they're doing as graphic designers. So again, you're getting a little smorgasbord of everything from, what some of us think of as traditional print, right? When you think of graphic design, you're probably thinking of print. We do that here, but we also do a lot more than just traditional print. As I mentioned, some of those other areas of focus would be like motion graphics. This would be a great display of showing you motion graphics. A lot of our students are focusing on motion graphics. I would say graphic design at Art Center is really for individuals who are passionate, excited about typography, exploring the use of typography as they're visually communicating their message with their particular audience. So you can see students like Maricruz here is doing work that's also not just presenting a graphics identity, but also focusing in work that's culturally inspired. And also she's doing work that's driven by her minor in Design Matters. I mentioned earlier, Design Matters allows you to have a minor in social innovation. So a lot of the work that Maricruz does as a graphic designer is really focused through that Design Matters emphasis. So there's a social context as well. So that's our quick version of graphic design, a lot more to take a look at. So we're gonna make our way on over to our next department on display. I believe the next department we're gonna take a look at would be Undergraduate Transportation Design. So if you head on over with me for just a second, we'll make our way through. Also, if you're tuning in and you're inspired by any of the work on display today and you're thinking, wow, I don't have that work yet, most of these students weren't necessarily at that level either. What we're looking for in our portfolio process, they're specific to each department. If you're curious about, how can I go to Art Center? How can I do that? And don't be afraid to schedule an appointment with us in admissions. If you have work to show, great. We can take a look at some of the work and give you feedback. Or if you don't have any work and you're still trying to figure out which one of these programs is right for me, we'll be able to sit down with you and kind of go into it more in detail as well. And so be sure to connect with us at admissions for those questions. The next department on display today is Undergraduate Transportation Design. Transportation design, Art Center's known worldwide, but transportation design for us really does set us at the top of the top. A lot of the vehicles on the road today have been designed by Art Center alumni. You may be driving in one today. You may be tuning in and you may have designed one of those cars as well. And so transportation design is really focused on thinking about transportation, forward-thinking design. And so what you design today is irrelevant tomorrow. So we really want our students to really be thinking about what it means to have forward-thinking design as they put together their interior and exterior transportation designs. While the department allows students to really focus in automotive transportation design from an interior and exterior perspective, some students may also choose to consider boat, yacht design, airplanes, other means of transportation, but a majority of our students do focus in vehicular design. You can see all of these models that our students have created themselves, the renderings, the models. We provide all the resources on campus, the shops, the tools, the laboratories, all of the facilities for our students to create all the beautiful work on display. So next we're we're cutting through, this here on display is our graduate transportation systems and design. So if you're interested at the graduate level thinking about transportation design as a system, you might want to consider our graduate transportation systems and design. We're just about to wrap up, so if you have questions, please make sure to tune in on the bottom of your screen there and type in your questions as they come up, and we'll take a look at those in just a few minutes. Want to wrap up, we're going to visit our graduate art and undergraduate fine art on display today. I would say our fine art department at the undergraduate level at Art Center is really for individuals who want to explore what it means to be an artist, but also they're not necessarily coming to Art Center from the very beginning saying, this is what I'm going to do. If you have that in mind, great, but actually I would say be open to exploring those different mediums. Maybe right now you're doing painting and drawing, more traditional, which is okay. Maybe you're doing sculptural work, but maybe you come to Art Center and you're able to be a fine art student and you're developing who you are as an artist and your work evolves. You start experimenting with different mediums. Maybe now, instead of doing sculptural work, maybe you're doing photo, maybe you're doing film, some installation, maybe you're doing virtual reality, but through the context of a fine art perspective as well. And so we really want our students to focus in on providing them with an outlet to become professional exhibiting artists at the gallery level, as you would see here today. So there's some really interesting pieces on display today. Our students are producing work that may be abstract, and may be definitely conceptual as well. Less narrative and more conceptual, abstract, but we want our students to have those various outlets and to explore the various mediums and what it means truly to pursue a fine art program at Art Center. So actually, I think that bell means that we're wrapping up. And so that pretty much does it. If you have any questions coming in, we have Karen Hoffman, our provost, who's going to join us for the Q&A. And so I'm just going to take a look at our Facebook here and see what questions you may have coming in. Let's see. There are some comments. Let's see. I'm going to turn on my volume so we don't get that back echo, but let's see if there's any questions. Yep, we've got a lot of likes. Let's see. Yes, someone asked if there's a second show happening tomorrow. Yes, so this is just an exclusive look for you. It's open to the public tomorrow, Saturday, December 15th, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. following our graduation. So if you're local and you want to visit, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. here at the Pasadena Convention Center. It is open to the public tomorrow. Luis, you asked, is film on display? The film program is on display. They're doing screenings tomorrow, so it doesn't make sense for us to show you a screening today on this live tour. So if you want to check out more about the film department, they have a really great setup, but their screenings will happen tomorrow during the open public grad show as well. If you're
and we actually, just to add a little bit more to that, sure. You can come see the film department here in their space, but they're also doing screenings in the auditorium as well from 3 o'clock. To about 4 o'clock.
Great. Tomorrow.
On
Great.
Saturday.
Perfect. Let's see. I'm just making sure I'm covering everyone's questions as they come in. So I'll kind of start the questions as you're kind of coming up with your own questions as they come in. Maybe Karen, you can talk to us a little bit more. I know you mentioned it, but about the industry night that we had for recruiters yesterday. That's sure. A really important part of what our graduates experience and what that means with our connection to industry.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest days for all of us here at Art Center, which is a chance for our alumni, quite a few of the industry come back as alumni that offer internships. We have a lot of our students who had done internships and their employers coming back to see how they've progressed and then have a conversation about next steps and maybe future employment. Yesterday we had, like I said, 250 different recruiters, different representatives from companies, designers, artists that were here looking at all of the different work. And I think the thing that's very unique about this particular space, and it serves it well, is that there's cross-industry recruiting now. For instance, if you have recruiters coming to look at automotive work, they may end up going to look at what's happening in interaction or in film or advertising, photography, other majors that they may not have considered seeing before. So it's kind of exciting to see how the disciplines are crossing over and how the industry is coming back to not just recruit from a major you would consider, but from multiple majors.
Right, or if you have a photography and imaging student who's focusing on automotive photography,
correct,
and you have the transportation industry here,
yeah,
they may take a look at that and say, we want that person to be capturing our vehicles, right?
Right, and then the technology industries too, we'll have multiple recruiters here like Google, Amazon, we've had a few others as well, that are literally looking at and recruiting in 6 or 7 different departments.
There's some more questions coming in, so I'll take those. Let's see, Luis, you asked another question. It's about admissions, so thank you for asking. As I mentioned earlier, I am from admissions, our director of recruitment programs. So Luis asked, is there a preferred time period to submit your applications? It's rolling admissions, and so we're admitting for fall, spring, and summer, depending on the program. Our only department that has a strict deadline would be entertainment design for the fall and for the spring. For the fall, it would be February 1. For the spring and entertainment design, it's October 1. The rest of our programs, for the most part, are rolling admissions, and so as long as you meet the portfolio requirements, you submit your application, you could be considered for that upcoming term to which you're applying to. And so make sure you pay attention to our portfolio requirements. They're all listed on our website. Sometimes students have prospective students have a tendency to submit just all of any of their work, and really here at Art Center, because they're highly specialized programs, we want to make sure that we are admitting students that reflect they're doing the type of work that we're looking for, since we don't have foundation year. So here at Art Center, one of the unique things is that we don't have what other traditional art and design schools may have and offer what they call a foundation year. You get to kind of figure it out. Here at Art Center, you're admitted to your program, be it film, photography and imaging, transportation design, illustration, and so forth. We're admitting you directly to your program, and so we want to make sure that your portfolios are reflecting that you already have that initial skill set in place and you're ready to come to Art Center and take it to the next level. Another question, can anyone attend? I'm an alum. Yes, Christina, you can attend tomorrow, 1 to 5 p.m. here at the Pasadena Convention Center. It's open to the public.
Oh, we definitely want our alumni back. So all you alumni that are watching, come on back. We'd love to say hello to you.
Great. Any other questions as we're wrapping up here? Give it another minute or so. Again, if you're interested in pursuing an education at Art Center, I feel like there might be a few different types of you out there. Someone who's like really excited about the work that's on display, and you're thinking, man, I could never do the work that's there. Never say never. If there's so many students who may have been in your position, they met with us in admissions, we talked to them about our programs, we highlighted what they would need in their portfolio, and we worked with them through their process. So I would say, as long as you're open to working with us in admissions, taking our feedback, we'll help you build a really strong portfolio to then be admitted into our program. So if you have work to show, bring it in, let us review it, give you feedback. If you don't have any work to show and you want to figure out, okay, which program is right for me, I'm thinking about transportation design, but I might also be thinking about product design, I want to do something industrial design based, let us help you out in admissions and figure out what are some of those things that you'd like to do, and we'll help you narrow it down and figure out which portfolio requirements you might want to follow. Let's see, anything else? I think we're pretty much wrapped. Anything that I overlooked, Karen?
No, I think, Tim, you do such a good job on these tours. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the work today. We're really, once again, excited about being here in the convention center, having a space that more people can come and see the work, and then having these Facebook Live tours as well. So thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you. And as we wrap up, I just want to remind everybody, if you come tomorrow, the future is just around the corner. And so be sure to check us out tomorrow, December 15th, from 1 to 5 for the open public viewing of the graduation show for fall 2018. Thanks so much. Take care.